Here's the comment section with Brett Cooper. Oh, no, it's not Brett Cooper. It's whoever this is. What's her name? Reagan Conrad, huh? 3.6 billion subscribers. Oh my God. You'd expect to see massive view numbers on a channel this size. How we doing, Daily Wire? Oh, 25K, 11K, 11K, 13K, 11K, 11K, 16K, 12K, 8K. Oof. Channel with over 3 million subscribers, averaging 10,000 views a video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and it has been an absolutely brutal week for Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. Two huge stories coming out this week. The first one being that the Daily Wire is pretty much explicitly broke. They are no longer profitable, and they are seeking to basically sell their company by taking it public because they can't find any private investors anymore. Ooh, not great. And the second more damning story, this one just broke, was their most recent hire, 19-year-old Matt Nuclear. I'm sure you've probably never heard of the kid because I haven't. Well, it turns out he was arrested in 2022 for threatening to shoot up a daycare. Oh, and Ben Shapiro apparently didn't do his due diligence on the background check on that one. So, woo, not great. So those are the two stories we're going to talk about in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Follow us on Patreon. Grab some America First, America Only merch. Let's jump into it. And it's Tuesday, so make sure to catch us live at 5 p.m. Pacific for our live stream tonight. We cover weekly politics and current events every Tuesday. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about it. All right, first story we're going to start with is, yes, this new 19-year-old savant who is, again, they brought on to be able to go out and debate Gen Z kids, really bring in the Gen Z audience because that's what Gen Z loves right now. It's definitely Zionist shill companies like the Daily Wire. Now, let's check out this story because, ooh, yeah, it is not good for little Benny. All right, so here we go. The Daily Wire's newest employee, little acorn-headed Matt Nuclear here, has been exposed for being arrested in 2022 for threatening to shoot up a daycare over an Xbox chat, otherwise known as Mateus Pereira. The political commentator was recently hired as a new political personality for the Daily Wire. Now, well, that by itself is absolutely horrible for the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro. I mean, your most recent hire being a 19-year-old kid who's got a habit of threatening to shoot toddlers. Not great, although I will say it is par for the course for Zionism, isn't it? But to my point here, that's not the only thing, because this kid is so fucking dumb that he was recently on one of his shows, showed his grok history on accident, and leaked all the details to his contract with the Daily Wire, and some very embarrassing questions that he's been asking grok. All right, it says here, Daily Wire's newest hire, who goes by the stage name Matt Nuclear, had his conversations with Grok leak revealed the terms of his hire at the Daily Wire alongside bizarre parasocial interactions with the AI. The contract, which can be read in a thread posted by the UnF America Tour Twitter account in the reply below, shows that Matt had to sign over his name, image, and likeness alongside all the branding for his show. The contract resembles a Hollywood studio-style deal, which are notorious for abuse. We'll take a look at that contract here in a second. Nuclear did not consult an attorney when negotiating the contract, instead asking Grok to summarize the deal he was given and asking the AI to encourage his decisions. And this is par for the course for Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. I mean, Candace Owens, Brett Cooper both left the Daily Wire from what we're understanding, just absolutely terrible contracts and abusive contracts, which, wow, look at that. Who's shocked that Ben Shapiro is taking advantage of people? Now, if you're wondering who the fuck this kid even is, because you've never heard of him, just like I hadn't before this story broke, let's take a look at his page. All right, so Matt Nuclear with a whopping 9,000 subs. He's got a brand new channel that's got about a third of that as well, but let's look at what content he does. Oh, that's right, it's all just Israel simping goy slop, as you can see. So that's sort of his thing, right? He's a little Ben Shapiro. But he's also a 19-year-old kid with no education, no life history, and no resume whatsoever, so I'm not really sure why anybody would be listening to this kid to begin with. And this is a real problem for MAGA and the Zionists. They're trying so hard to bring Gen Z to the table because Gen Z is just hardcore based and anti our greatest ally. So they decided to go with kids like Matt Nuclear and dipshits like Brinley Hollyhand Little dork goy slaves that would get bullied to shit by every Gen Z kid imaginable. All right, now this is a very good breakdown of the entire situation by a creator called Postman 1.0. So shout out to you, bro. Let's take a look. It's got some of the details of the contract and whatnot in it, and then we'll talk about it.
Shapiro's newest goy slave just got exposed for trying to shoot up a daycare. For those not in the know, Matt Nuclear is the Daily Wire's newest acorn-headed Israeli shill. Matt Nuclear didn't gain significant prominence until he started doing Jubilee debates. On these Jubilee debates, he would defend conservative and Zionist positions against certain left-wing talking heads.
You actually want foreign money influencing our election. Well, so AIPAC is not foreign money.
But he didn't gain the ire of X until he was signed on by the Daily Wire and started posting daily about his undying support for Israel. From this point, he got into a debate with Beards and Beardley. Bad move. And in this debate, he leaked his embarrassing grok chats. Those grok chats would mostly just be embarrassing, like him asking if he's successful for a 19-year-old or whether or not Ben Shapiro would like him. And he tried using grok to negotiate his extremely and unsurprisingly contract from the Daily Wire.
All right, so here's the contract numbers, and I'll explain how all this works. All right, so what he gets is $700 an episode for 11 episodes a month, equating to about $8,000 a month. Pretty good, actually, considering that his content has no views on it. So while that may sound pretty good, if he ever were to blow up into a pretty decent-sized creator, he would never make more than $8,000 a month working for the Daily Wire forever. Even if he was making $100,000 a month, that's what he would be capped at. All right, and then the Daily Wire gets 100% of the IP in perpetuity. They own anything he ever creates, including secondary channels he puts out himself going forward. And they own his name, his image, his likeness, all to be used for marketing. And they essentially take 95% of the revenue. So extremely predatory style contract. And then you get somebody who's an up and comer who is not quite making that much money yet, but maybe you think has the potential to 10, 20x that. And you will always own everything about them and essentially 95% of the revenue of the money that they make. Yeah, sounds like the type of contract Ben Shapiro would be putting forward. However, at the moment for the kid, it's not bad because if we look at his views, he's doing things like 4,000, 1.7 thousand, 1.5 thousand, 12,000, it's 1.6 thousand, 700 views a video. So his channel is probably bringing in around $1,000 to $2,000 a month in revenue right now. So for the moment, not bad. But again, if he were to ever become successful at all, yeah, not great. But what's also crazy about this story is you think about the Daily Wire as an organization. You're trying to take this company public. That's how massive it is, supposedly. We'll talk about that next. And you can't even do a simple background check on people you're hiring onto your show? Wouldn't have been hard to find out that this kid's been arrested before for domestic terrorism threats, for the most disgusting shit ever, and especially threatening to shoot up a bunch of little toddlers. But somehow they're that lazy or they're that incompetent. Also not surprising given the fact that the company is burning in and going bankrupt. Let's talk about the second part of the story, which is that now. You guys, if you want to avoid being a 120-pound dork that could get physically manhandled by my 12-year-old daughter like all the men at the Daily Wire, you got to hit the gym. And if you're going to do that, you might as well supplement, right, with our partners over at Tasty Gains Creatine Gummies, baby, my absolute favorite fitness nutritional product. I've been with Tasty Gains for over 2 years. Creatine is amazing for you guys. It's going to make your muscles bigger, stronger. You're going to have more endurance, better muscle recovery, and it's even great for cognitive function in your brain. And right now, Tasty Gains has a great 4th of July sale, guys. Don't miss it. You get 25% off everything in the store with code 250. And they got more than just creatine, guys. They've got kids creatine. They've got caffeine gummies. They got pre-workout and even BCAAs. And the best part about Tasty Gains, guys, it's a delicious creatine gummy. My favorite's the watermelon. That way you don't have to drink shitty, gritty creatine. So head on over to the website, take advantage of the 4th of July sale, get 25% off everything in the store. Links in the pinned comment description. Let's get back to the video. All right, let's put my master's degree in business to work so I can explain some of these things. So you've probably seen headlines like this. Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire, which has been losing subscribers across all social media platforms, is reportedly seeking a $100 million IPO at a $2 billion valuation. Now, you might be confused if the company is going bankrupt, has just laid off half of their employees. The subscribers are down over 30% on their website. Ben Shapiro's view numbers are down 90% on his YouTube channel. How could they possibly expect to take a company public? I mean, who would ever invest in that absolute fucking dumpster fire of a company? It's not going to become profitable. It's absolute pariah at this point. We all know that. When we can look at the numbers here. Right, it says here, the Daily Wire is in serious trouble. Ben Shapiro's company is desperately shopping for over $100 million in strategic investors and aiming for an IPO within the next 2 years. An IPO is when you take a company public. And let me explain that real quick. The reason why you want to take a company public from being a private company is because you need to raise money. That's the entire point, right? So you're looking for public investors so you can raise cash flows to drive your business. Now, typically the reason why companies are doing this is because they are growing so fast that they need more money to massively expand the company, and that's why they do this and go public. Otherwise, a lot of companies don't need to do this and will just stay private. So again, it's a little bizarre that a company that is failing and obviously non-profitable and going bankrupt would be seeking to go public, but it's because nobody will invest in the company in the private investment market. So paid subscribers have collapsed down more than a third. It's actually closer to about 40% drop in the last year from their peak to just 770,000. No growth in 2 years. It's not no growth, it's massively negative growth. And you can see the chart here. They peaked in 2024 at 1.26 million. And since then, they have dropped down to 771,000. Now, you might think, well, that is a ton of subscribers still. Well, yeah, but it depends on how big your company is and how fast you grew it, because now 770,000 subscribers could make you non-profitable, which is the case right now. Also, keep in mind in 2026, Daily Wire has done massive sort of blowout membership sales. I see it all the time, right? They're offering Daily Wire memberships to 50 to 80% off. They're also giving a ton of them away for free. So these numbers are actually massively artificially inflated too. And the reason why they would do that and try to fluff up the numbers of subscribers through giving away basically subscriptions for almost free is that they want to be able to take that to investors and say, see, look, this is how many subscribers we have at this much money. But what they don't know is that all those subscriptions, when the cost goes back up to 100% or they're no longer free, all of those people will cancel their memberships. But it's completely designed to basically try to lure in investors. But like I said before, who in the world would invest in a failing company, especially investing $100 million to be able to take the company public when it's obviously going to burn in immediately and it will IPO and immediately tank into the abyss and everybody's going to lose all their money? And the reality is it'll be some Zionist billionaire that'll swoop in and pay, $1-2 billion so that they can continue to keep the Daily Wire afloat and keep it as a Hasbro mouthpiece propaganda network. That is currently what is happening. The company is not profitable. They're not making any money. They're losing money hand over fist. They're laying off half of their employees. But somebody like Larry Ellison could very well swoop in and save the day. And that's probably what you're actually going to see when this happens. Again, because they think having the Daily Wire as a propaganda mouthpiece is more important than the money that they would be making off of it, which, again, they wouldn't be making money. It would basically be a throwaway $2 billion to try to keep the company afloat as it continues to burn into the abyss. Now, aside from the actual website subscriptions that are down nearly 40% and going to continue to tank, right? We're going to see that continue to do this down to probably zero eventually. We wouldn't ever expect to see in the current climate for that to reverse. You also have just the numbers of these YouTube channels that are also run by the Daily Wire. Now, we've shown this a dozen times to show you how bad Ben Shapiro's channels have died. 7 million subscribers, 7 million subscribers. That's absolutely insane. Let's see how Ben's videos are doing view-wise. All right, 21 hours ago, 28K, 16K. 28K, 70K, 111. He broke 100 there. 79K, 85, 21, 43K. Oh, I mean, this guy's got 7 million subscribers, and he's averaging about, let's say, 40 to 50,000 views a video. Now, I like to compare it with my channel because I'm not a $2 billion company. I don't have hundreds of employees. It's just dipshit Nate in his studio behind the camera. I do all my own editing. That's it. It's just me. And let's see my numbers compared to Ben Shapiro. Well, subscribers, I have 1/14 the subscribers of Ben Shapiro. So you would expect I would have 1/14 the views, right? All right, well, my video 22 hours ago has done 190K, 170K, 139K, 111, 176, 135, 112, 195, 153, 208, 194, 243, 273. As you can see, just me, just a guy behind a camera is averaging 3 times the views as Ben Shapiro's YouTube channel. That's probably not great. And he's one of the highest performers out of all the Daily Wire. Here's the comment section with Brett Cooper. Oh, no, it's not Brett Cooper. It's whoever this is. What's her name? Reagan Conrad, huh? 3.6 million subscribers. Oh my God. You would expect to see massive view numbers on a channel this size. How we doing, Daily Wire? Oh, 25K, 11K, 11K, 13K, 11K, 11K, 16K, 12K, 8K. Oof. Channel with over 3 million subscribers, averaging 10,000 views a video. I think my channel was averaging 10,000 views a video when I had about 10,000 subscribers. So how is anybody watching the Daily Wire? Well, what about one of their really famous names, Michael Knowles? All right, Michael Knowles, 2.6 million subs, 5 times the size of my channel. Let's see how he's doing. All right, we won't count the one 2 hours ago, but here, one day ago, 60K, a little bit better than Ben, 120, not bad, 17, 50, 119, 42, 30, 58. So he does have Ben Shapiro beat by a little bit, but again, for a channel with almost 3 million subscribers, you would expect those numbers to be almost 10 times what they are. Oh, doesn't look like anybody is watching anything that's coming out of the Daily Wire. Now, take a look at this. There was a bunch of these posted on Twitter the other day of Daily Wire's panel doing anywhere from 7 to about 20 concurrent live viewers. Here's a clip of 7 people watching. Then somebody says, here, you're just a hater. That was the start of the live. Now it's at 18. Another person posts, you're not wrong. 16 watching. So things are going absolutely terribly for Ben Shapiro, and you gotta love that, right? Watching his company completely burn in, become non-profitable. He's obviously going bankrupt. They're going to be insolvent soon if they don't get some massive cash influx, which they will from, again, some Zionist billionaire who will do it just to keep them afloat. Because it doesn't even matter for them at this point. They don't care if it's profitable or not. It's just there for propaganda. But what I do know is everybody working for them are definitely having their paychecks massively cut as well. Because again, Ben Shapiro might not mind because he gets that investment money, but all those employees, oof, either headed for the door or probably looking for other jobs here pretty soon. So from hiring kids that threaten to shoot up schools to going bankrupt, things are going absolutely fantastic for little Ben Shapiro. And we're all here cheering for it. Congrats, buddy. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. It's going to do it for this one. I'll catch y'all in the next video.